Welcome to the Blue and Gold News Report. Kevin, here we are. Camp is over officially as West Virginia gets into their school year practice schedule. Classes started at WVU on Tuesday, and now West Virginia's football program moves into more of a normal year-long schedule. But, in talking to the coaches, and admittedly, we as a media only had a couple opportunities or short opportunity to see this team. So we can't pass our own judgment. And talking to the coaches, it does sound like there are a couple of areas that maybe are a little bit better in terms of position talent than we were initially, and at least I initially thought. I think corner sounds like a spot that the coaches are a little more enthusiastic about. Anything that's caught your ear or eye in those coaches' interviews about places that you thought weren't good initially but are better now?
Yeah, corners definitely are. Maybe even offensive line a little bit. You don't expect a lot of glowing reviews from Mike Trickett. That's just, not the way that he's always done operations. But yeah, even he was not, shaking his head or anything like that. He had some nice things to say about a couple of people that came over from Jacksonville State and other destinations and a couple of the freshmen. But yeah, corner is just so important. Because, there were so many breakdowns there that led up big plays last year. So, yeah, I'm kind of excited to see them. And, one of the things we've been focusing on is how they can create more pass breakups, how they can win some of those contested passes. I was thinking about it, guys that I've passed in the entryway at the push car center and everything, they seem bigger. They seem like they got longer arms. When you just get a general impression, hey, these guys look more physically ready to play. So hopefully that all carries over onto the field.
Yeah, certainly. And obviously they'll be greatly helped if West Virginia generates pass rush. And I've actually heard good things about the edge rushers because I'll admit, going into the year, wasn't certain about what that would be. And again, time will tell. We won't know anything until the season actually begins, but I think they're more pleased with some of the edge rush people. Toby Hastrup, a kid that's got a load of ability, needs to produce, but if they can produce, that'll help the corners as well. A lot of the notice for West Virginia is on the transfers that have come in, but there's some freshmen as well that are going to be major factors on this football team. We know that three of them are certainly big-time factors, and Kevin Brown at offensive tackle, Amari Latimer at running back, and Matt Sig at safety. But there are a couple others as well. Is this team to the point where it depends a lot on freshmen, a little on freshmen? What are you thinking on the freshmen? Are there any others you've heard of that potentially could help this football team in the fall?
Yeah, if we're on a 5-point scale, definitely a little bit above a little, because I think there's some guys that you expect to be on the field. And there's one other thing that strikes me, the coaches don't differentiate when they say help. Maybe that means on special teams, for some of these guys. Maybe it may not be, from scrimmage, but that doesn't make those contributions any less valuable to me. But yeah, I think there are a few more. The new eligibility rule is probably going to play into that a little bit. You may be a little bit less reluctant to put a guy out there and see how he does for a series or two if you think he's close to ready. A couple of the freshmen, that are really like Vincent Smith, the cornerback, and, Coach Rodriguez pushed back on him a little bit in his comments about saying, well, I didn't mention him, but by all accounts, he is a big guy. He might be one of the biggest corners West Virginia's ever had. Does he eventually move somewhere else? Maybe. But he could be at one of those, fifth, sixth defensive back slots, one of the extra guys that are in your specialty packages. I definitely think he's in there. A guy I like that I don't think has been mentioned a lot yet, but I think has a lot of potential. He kind of stood out to me just in a little bit on-field viewing was Miles Cottrey. I think he's absolutely got a chance. You mentioned when we were talking about this a little bit before is tight end and Kay Bush there that has a chance to help. How much is West Virginia going to use its tight ends? We always hear that, hey, they're going to be a bunch, and then, 1 year or two it might be some, and then some years they disappear. But I think if West Virginia, again, is going to rely on its running game like it is, Maybe that's a little bit more room for the tight ends if they block well to help a little bit on those running surfaces and help the running game really get going too.
Yeah, I think it could be important, but unfortunately, according to Rich lately, it sounds some like the tight ends are a position that's a little banged up with a number of guys that are dealing with injuries. Though doesn't sound like anything's long term, but has given Cade Bush an opportunity to get practice reps, and he's taking advantage of it. So, well, we'll continue to follow the Mountaineers along on the Blue and Gold News Report as West Virginia moves closer to that September 5th opener against Coastal Carolina.